reason and some thoughtfulness to the final recommendations. And I do think that's our job, to take what the task force recommends and then proceed to distill it from there for recommendations to the commissioners.
Thank you. Bill?
Yeah.
You can sit there.
Okay, yeah. I'd like to express my concern about pretty much the exact same thing. When we started this, it's been darn near 2.5, 3 years ago. I'm not sure exactly when it was, but we started with I believe 14 or 16, 18 total people here. And I think I've been to every single one, but maybe one. If I'd missed that, I can't remember. But I'm concerned that the recommendations that I saw on an email to me about 7 people agreed here, 7 people disagreed, that right now we are discussing this, and there's only about 4 or 5 or 6 of those people that are still here, or that from when we started. So I don't think that that's usable information anymore. I see that we have changes in the commissioners. I see that we have changes in we have one person that's now a commissioner that was once on the task force. We have one commissioner that was a commissioner and now he's no longer a commissioner. And all of this is, and the other thing that's very disappointing to me is the numerous people that were asked to be and serve the community have never even shown up. There's 4 or 5 or 6 people that have never been to these meetings. I don't know why their name's on here. I don't know why their vote counts. So that's kind of concerning to me. And then the other concern I have is the format by which it was all done. As being a member and being here every single time, that there's no way that the 8, 10, 14 of us can sit down and have a civil discussion amongst ourselves, as long as we have input, everything we talk about from other people in the community. And that has been a huge disruption to the whole process with all of us. So it's caused dissension. It's caused, I know personally for me, it's very troubling to me that there's people that because of this process we've had, that the division that has been driven between some of us that used to be friends, used to be business associates, used to be just neighbors, that now it's so divided and it's just gotten ugly. And I think that maybe if we could just have a discussion amongst the task force members and or the zoning commission, whoever, I don't, and discuss something without outside forces coming in and who's a member of this organization and who's a member of that organization. And it's not healthy. It hasn't been healthy for me at all. I'm very disappointed in the whole thing. I started out being a member of this. I was asked to be a member. I thought it was about what's best for the whole of Kent County, not just a couple groups. And I think that's horrible. Our county is not moving forward. And we need to move forward and improve the document so that we can, go forward and better the county as one, instead of having an agricultural group here, having a development group there, having a economic development over here, having what we do here. And I think that we've lost sight of what the whole purpose was here. And it's a disappointment to me. So I don't know where we go from here, but I do know that every meeting we've had, every topic we've discussed, every single issue we've discussed, the process has allowed the public to say something. That's what this meeting was for, I thought. Was for this meeting, was for the public to come in and speak, not after every single thing we discussed. And that's foiled the whole process, in my opinion, and it's soiled a lot of things to do with our community here. It's not just in this room. It's in the whole community where people have divided over this. And I can tell you this, that still, 98% of the people in this county have no idea what the 10% rule is and how it affects their land and what it does or doesn't do. And I think that it's a shame that there's not more people that take interest in it, maybe, but that we don't have some sort of definition with this is exactly what it does. It seems like we're trying to avoid what it really does because we don't want so-called fragmentation. We're missing the point here. So that's my thoughts.
Anyone else? Go ahead, Bill.
I kind of have listened to everybody and kind of agree mostly what everybody says. And I'm like Miss Pat. I think we need to vote. We need to pick a topic. We need to discuss it. We need to vote on it and put it to bed. Move to the next one. And that's we were talking about. I have the first paper here, October 15th, 2020. We had 17 members. Tonight we have 6 or 8. And I think the high rate of attrition is because we really haven't put anything to bed. We haven't really gotten anything accomplished. I have people ask me, so what's getting accomplished on the task force? I'm like, well, we've heard a lot of testimony. We've discussed a lot of things, but we haven't made one damn decision. And I think we need to start clipping some things off and making some headway and making progress. In the beginning, I used to look forward to these meetings, and I tell you, I'll be honest with you, I dread these things now. I really do. I've lost a lot of sleep over the different things, like what Billy said, a lot of the divisiveness and all that. That was not my intent. I want to get along with everybody, and but from my point of view, I want to see some things get accomplished and put some things to bed and keep things moving.
Thank you.
A lot of good suggestions, but we gotta get past Christmas first.
I also think that maybe we've gotten so spaced out on our meetings between one meeting to the next meeting that I can't, I got other things going on in my life like all the rest of us do. And you lose sight of what we even talked about the last time. I just think it needs to be more regular. And I don't know whether it was spaced out on purpose to prolong the process or whether whatever, we can blame whatever you want on COVID, but we seem to be able to do it once COVID's here. So you can't just keep extending everything. I get that, I agree with you, Pat. You gotta have a decision. Somebody's gotta say, this is what it is. There's gonna be people that are happy and unhappy. But it's just dragging on. It's just not good for anybody. Not good for the community.
Thank you for all your comments. Staff, I don't know what our schedule is and what our charge, but it seems to me our next agenda, whatever that meeting would be, I think after Christmas is a good idea, Bill. Would be, to put these in a format with but we need to have, recognize the public comments and the letters that have come in. That's been a long time. It's been 2 years, and people, the public has had the right to participate, and the task force we have now, 57 or 8 people, that they should at least be able to review those things and listen to, so we can and take a vote, after we have all that information. So.
You have totally different information now. Because you have totally different people.
Well, so we need we need the public testimony and written comments of all this. That everyone deserves to be heard. But now you can please offer. We're the lay people here. You're the professionals. What would you envision to remedy this situation?
Well, my goal has always been to facilitate the process. We negotiated this process from the beginning. I believe this task force was formed in September of 2020. Sort of at that point, midpoint in the process, we had already hired the consultant and had some things going. We worked for several months on building a mission statement. I think there was good cohesion with that. We did have, I mean, I don't mean to be contradicted, but we really did have 100% attendance in the beginning of the task force. And
We're maybe one or two meetings.
so we put that together. Staff went through, the public were invited to make specific text changes. The task force was invited to make changes as well, and staff had some changes suggested. And we went through those first in a series of meetings, and then the task force wanted to have a staff report for each one. So we prepared staff reports for each item and worked through those on a schedule. We did talk about and sort of negotiate how were those recommendations to be formed. I think a big part of that was there was concern that, you know, having a direct vote on each item would be divisive for the group. So we sort of evolved how we reported these things. For me, my next step is I'm gonna, and I have requested to meet with the new Board of County Commissioners, brief them on where we are in the process. And I think Carl and I will probably spend some time working up some options on that. And this is, in the biggest of pictures, a legislative process, and that legislative process is directed by the Board of County Commissioners. So I would want to meet with them and understand their desires and wishes and move forward from that point. I will communicate all the things that were said by the task force tonight. I know there's been some concern expressed at different times about, you know, making sure that what the public has said, what the task force has said is included. We do have complete minutes that you've adopted at each meeting. We do have recordings in the beginning, they're audio recordings. We have, that's why we went to YouTube. So everybody could actually watch every single meeting. And all of the correspondence we've received is posted online for people to review. Managed to get that accomplished. So I feel like the process has been transparent. It has been modified over time in response to COVID, in response to some of the conflicts that, you know, this task force ran into during the process. So staff has tried to be responsive, preparing and researching detailed staff reports for every topic. And I think that in the biggest picture, we had serious staffing shortages. We were 1/3 vacancy in the department for quite some time. That was rolling. And so that's the meetings, this last part of this process. We were meeting twice a month for quite a long time. It's been stretched out just because we're not able to perform that with staff we have. So, but
Thank you.
I will report this out. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. Thank you. Go ahead.
Another question for Bill. Bill, where does the mandate for the task force in terms of decision-making recommendations
So the task force is
and the responsibility of the planning commission itself for those actions start?
right. So my understanding of this process is the task force was created by the Board of County Commissioners. It's composed of a planning commission and 9 members of the public who were appointed. That body was put together to make recommendations to the Board of County Commissioners regarding changes to the zoning code. So in the formal process that I understand, at some point when this becomes legislation, that legislation will be referred from the Board of County Commissioners to the Planning Commission for their specific recommendations on that legislation. Because AZD is included in the zoning code, it would also go to the Agriculture Advisory Commission for those portions that relate to AZD. But, and again, I haven't had a discussion with the Board of County Commissioners about sort of what their druthers are, but this body was created by them, my understanding, to report back to them. I don't think the Planning Commission stands in between this body and the Board of County Commissioners. The Planning Commission is this body with some other people added.
Got it. So we're all melded in terms of decision-making.
For this task force purpose.
Got it.
Correct.
Thank you.
And that's based on the model that was used for the previous rezoning effort 20 years ago. Thank you.
Anyone else have anything? I don't think we're in a position to re-litigate recommendations now, but I think we need to wait to hear back from Bill and staff after their meeting with the commissioners and see where, and you can relay certainly our concerns and the public's concerns, see if we can get get on a stricter schedule and get some definitive work done so Buck can get some rest. Thank you. Is there anything else from the task force members? If not, I entertain a motion to adjourn. Unless, do you have anything first?
So moved.
All right, sick. All right. All in favor? Thank you.
Thank you and good night.
Well, that was.